in focus? Yes, focus, important, because today it's about concentration. Yes, moving on up towards samadhi, the final stage on this Ashtanga Yoga Path. Am I talking too low? I'm a little embarrassed to talk to this camera because my cleaning lady is here, Claudia. She doesn't know what I do. I keep it a secret. But I get a little shy sitting here talking to a camera. Looks a little weird, right? But I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Hello. All right, let me see if I can get through this, because if I don't get this done today, then I won't get it done. So I'm getting it done. Hi, Goa Flowers. I'm Anita Goa, and welcome to Philosophy Friday. We are gradually climbing ourselves further up one limb on this Ashtanga Yoga Path, and this week we arrive at the sixth limb, which is called Dharana. And Dharana translates to concentration. Yes, there is a root word of DHR, and under the R there's a little dot, and that means to hold. So this limb is all about trying to focus our attention on one point, and that leads us into concentration. Remember, in the last video I covered the fifth limb, which was Pratyahara, and that was sense withdrawal. So now, as we withdraw our senses from the external environment into our internal environment, we are focusing our attention on one point. Just like I'm focusing on you right here as I am talking. So we are practicing this when we are having a conversation with someone, when we are reading a book. You know, anytime our mind is focused on one thing, we are practicing dharana, or concentration. So then, as we keep practicing, as we get better at concentrating, and maybe we extend that concentration, that leads us into the next limb, which we'll talk about in the next video, and that's meditation. So I hope that you're starting to see now how, you know, all of this is coming together. We practice dharana very organically in our yoga practice. It happens, you know, when we're breathing through the pranayama, as well as, you know, through our eyes, when we are focusing and we are concentrating on one point using our drishti. And we talk a lot about this in Ashtanga Yoga as well as in vinyasa practice. So we have various areas on our body or to the sky, our fingertips, our nose tip, our belly button. We focus, you know, to the right or to the left. We have different parts that we focus into, and that helps us to really train ourselves to stay focused on one thing so that we practice dharana, or concentration. And that withdraws us, you know, from the external to our internal. And the more we practice that, then we get into that higher stage of meditation. So it's pretty cool. It's almost like you don't even have to think about it. You just have to get yourself on your yoga mat, find your focus, find your breath, and practice. And I bet that you've noticed a huge improvement in your concentration when you're on the yoga mat. And maybe even there's been times when just the time just flew by because, you know, you were just so concentrated on what it was that you were doing. And maybe this happens to you in your everyday life too, when you're having a very interesting conversation with someone, or you're maybe watching a TV program, or you're reading a book, or you're working on a project. It's like you're so concentrated on that one thing that you just become all consumed into it, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful feeling. It's a little bit more challenging to concentrate, you know, when we're bored or when we're not having a good time, maybe when we're uncomfortable. So this comes in at that point as well. I keep thinking about Malcolm Gladwell when I'm thinking about this limb, because Malcolm Gladwell said, he's the author of many books, but Tipping Point is one of them, and Outliers is another one. I've read those two. And he says that there's nothing that's boring. I think that Malcolm is probably the ultimate meditator. But if you've ever read any of his books, he gets into such detail into the books at times, and I have found myself losing my concentration and just flipping through a few pages to get to the part where I'm ready to concentrate again. Shh, don't tell him. But yeah, so that is, where we really get to practice our concentration, when we're bored, when we're not so interested, when we, really don't want to bother. And that's interesting to start to see maybe how we change over the course of our practice, on our yoga mat, and how that affects us off of the yoga mat, or even on the yoga mat. There might be areas or poses that you're not interested in, you completely lose your concentration, or you're in a pose and all of a sudden you lose your concentration. So that's when I just said, oops, lost my breath. Get back into the breath again, find your drishti, and keep riding with it. So I think that basically that's what I have to say about concentration. I don't really have anything else to add to this. I hope that it made sense. This was probably the shortest video of the limbs, and I almost kind of feel like the higher up we get on the 8 limb path, the quieter we become, the less there is to say, because we're such in a deep state of concentration. But of course, I need to explain what each limb is, and not to sit here silently and expect you to know what it is. Right? Or maybe I should, to test out your concentration and see how long you can sit and focus on me without saying anything. Or maybe that would be more interesting than if I just kept talking. I don't know. I'm being sarcastic here. Anyway, let me know in the comments if this made sense. Let me know what concentration means to you, or how you feel that concentration has a part in your life, or maybe not. You find yourself just very distracted, by everything, and finding it hard to concentrate. I'd love to hear it. All right, have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.